We're all human. We're not monsters.
Mostly.
That my segue to discuss monsters in the mountains, plural, two plurals. It is out. We're in the future, and it is out.
Yes.
You can go get it, and it's it's the second in the series, and you can get both those books. I actually suggest you do. I do think your life would be enriched by reading the both.
Oh. Thank you.
I like the second one more. I think it was just more my vibe.
Okay.
Even though one is good, I enjoyed it. Would you give before we get into, I have questions for you, but before we get into that, could you give our listeners an elevator pitch of maybe the series and of the second book in particular?
Sure. So the series itself is about a girl from the fictional town of San Diego, California, discovering that. Are you doing spoilers?
I would try to avoid them for 2. 1, whatever you need. I don't know. Yeah. 1. I mean, if you're reading 2, it spoils what happens in 1. So I don't know.
Right.
I would say try and dance around as much as you can, but do your best.
These are not like companion books. They are
right. Exactly.
So the San Diego Slayers is about a girl who lives in it's a town based off of Santa Cruz, California. So it's beachside amusement park. And she learns that she has a serial killer vampire after her and she doesn't know why. And over the course of the story, discovers that her parents work for this super secret black budget agency that kind of tries to wrangle the supernatural world to keep it from bleeding into the rest of the world. And that just sets her off on this completely new career path. She was going to be a journalist. Not anymore. She is now training to be a member of this agency. And Monsters in the Mountains is kind of the basic training set at a summer camp.
Yeah, I think I like tent revival, religious, scary books. I love that stuff. I love religious horror. So all that stuff was like, oh yeah,
nice.
I love the Lost Boysness of the first book as for sure as well. But
yeah.
Have you? This is before we get into my deeper questions. This is my first question.
Okay.
This is what I was thinking about, especially in the first book. Have you read Runaways comic book?
Mm-mm.
Wow. Okay. You should read Runaways, the comic book. You should do that.
Runaways. Okay. Is it a horror comic?
No. It's a superhero comic, sort of. Okay. It's YA superhero stuff. Teen superheroes.
Okay.
A lot of similar themes of it's all teenage kids, and there's things about their parents that they don't know.
Okay.
And again, I'm not going to spoil it for you because you haven't read it. And for anyone listening, you should go read Runaways. It's really good. But there's like very similar. It's not a horror story, even though there are pretty horrific things that happen. But
okay,
it's a pretty old comic at this point. It's like 20 years old. But
nice.
Those characters are now kind of more established in the Marvel universe. Hulkling and Wiccan. They've been in some of the TV shows.
I was going to say, did they make it into a TV show?
No, I'm not sure if Runaways has ever made. I think they did one season or something, and it didn't happen. I forget.
Oh, okay.
I have lost track.
Okay.
Of everything in the Marvel, whatever all the shows they did and the movies I think it was going to be an ABC show. I don't remember. The comic book's better. But there's definitely similar. I'm like, oh wow, because there's definitely similar overlapping arcs, journeys characters go through. So
I'm definitely not going to pick it up until I finish the series, and I'm working on the last book.
I mean,
I don't want to be influenced.
I don't think at this. I think it's more definitely that first book.
Okay.
Blood on the Boardwalk.
Okay.
You're kind of you're going a completely different direction.
Okay.
From what it was doing, and you don't have any dinosaurs in your books.
No.
There's a dinosaur.
No dinosaurs.
There's a dinosaur in Runaways.
I do feel like that is missing now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to put a dinosaur in, I wouldn't complain. I guess I think that's part of you said it in the series. So that's my first question for you. this is like, it's so interesting to me because I don't really write. I've never written a series. I have one. I would do one duology. That's it. And maybe I'll write a sequel to one of my other books eventually. But it's not really a thing where I'm like, oh, I'm going to write a series. I have these characters. I have this multi-book arc for them. How do you have an end in mind in this? You said when I finish the series, or is it, have you planned this all out? I know book 3 is there because it's teased at the end of this book.
Yeah.
Do you have a like a rigid like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we have this is everything? Or is it more like I'm gonna chase a whim, I'm gonna let it flow more from book to book?
So originally, like the original like thought baby that I have of this book is that I wanted it to be more like a Fear Street where it just like kind of went on into infinity. And then as I started writing it, the story one developed more into a 4 to 5 book series, and then as I continued writing it, I realized I don't have the attention span to hold for series, but I am stubborn and I am going to finish this. It's almost done anyway, so I've been holding the first 3 books until I got to this last book and have got to like a really good point in it where I felt comfortable that it was going to be the end of the series. And then I just kind of have to edit it and do my process. And that's when I started releasing the books. But this series, I knew like Blood on the Boardwalk, that was the baby. And then as it developed in my head, I knew I wanted them to go to summer camp. I knew I wanted them to go to Salem, which is book 3. And originally it was going to be a 5 book series and they were going to go to New Orleans and then the series would end in Egypt. But as I work through what was book 4, I was like, oh crap, I don't have enough here for a book. And then when I, excuse me, think about book 5 and what I need to happen there, I didn't really have enough there either. So it's like, okay, do I write 2 short books? That didn't feel right. So book 4 is just going to be a part 1 and part 2. It's going to be a 1 book. So the series is now a 4 book series. And I'm on the editing phase of book 4.
Okay. I don't know. That is always the concern I have when I'm like, oh, I'll write a series, but I'm like, what happens if I write 2 books out of 5 and I run out of juice and I don't like it anymore?
Yeah.
Because that happens to me.
Yep.
It happens to me in the middle of a book. I'm like, I don't like this anymore. I give up. And if I already have 2 books in a series, people are going to be upset at me if I don't finish the series.
And that was a big part of me holding the rest of the books because I wanted to make sure, because I know, especially in the self-publishing space, people do not like unfinished series. So I wanted to make sure that I could deliver on the completion of the series before starting to publish it. And it ate away at me sitting on these books for as long as I did, but it's paying off because I can now just, Monsters in the Mountains came out 6 months after Blood on the Boardwalk. Girls in the Graveyard is going to come out 6 months after Monsters in the Mountains, and then Vampires in the Vault, which is the last one. That's 6 months after that. I was able to tee everything up and not lose my hair from stress in the process. So yeah, I struggled with book 4 because I'm like, I'm kind of ready to be done with this, but
it's a big project.
It's going to be finished, and I'm definitely ready to work on something new for sure.
I couldn't. I have a dark fantasy book that's done, but it's the first in a trilogy. And I don't really have much desire right now to write 2 and 3. And I'm like,
right.
Well, I'm just going to hang on to that, I guess, for a while.
Yeah.
Unless someone wants to pay me some good money for it, maybe then I'll listen.
Yeah.
Were those directions of each of those books that was like, was that driven by you were struck, you did it all come at once? Like, oh, I know it's going to be, you said already 4 and 5 are turning into just 4 combined, but 1, 2, 3, or all those were like, oh, well, I want to write a book in Salem, so that's where 3 is going to be set.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's good. That's fine. Yeah. I'm always like, there's always seems to be like, there's a certain amount of people who are like, and they typically are the pantsers among us, where they're like, okay, All right. I think I'm in the. I used to be much more planner, but now I'm kind of in the middle ish.
Mhm.
I'm kind of. I'm not. I'm definitely not full. I'll never be a pantser. It's impossible
Mhm.
for me. But it's always like. But there are those also strict planners who are like, oh yeah, that's a 10-book series, and I have literally have the setting of every single one. I know everything in advance. And I'm like, I don't know how I can't do that. That's
Mm-mm.
craziness
Yeah.
having all that, especially because has it changed? Has the arc of things changed as you've been writing through each book? Like, did three change as you were writing two? Is four gonna did like has the previous books changed the arcs of future books?
Not really.
Okay.
The only major change that I had is that Georgie, in the first book, she was always meant to be this kind of villainous foil for Jenna, but she kind of pulled the Steve Harrington, and I fell in love with her, and she's sticking around for the rest of the series.
I was
So
gonna say Georgie is my favorite character.
yeah, I love
I love Georgie more than anyone. I'm sorry, Jenna. Sorry, Jenna. I like Georgie more. Sorry.
okay.
Um, especially her version of her in this book. I
Mhm.
really because
Yeah,
that's pretty much what I would probably do in that situation. I feel like just to turn into a ball of spite
yeah,
and
and yeah.
do whatever necessary to get through this hell. Um, I think this is a connected question, so I'll ask it now.
Okay.
And I think now knowing that this is going to be a 4-book series, I think it helps answer a little bit. But I think it's the other question to me in my mind whenever I would think to write a series, especially a horror related series.
Mhm.
Like, is there a question of like, how much trauma can I dump on a child, effectively a teenager? But yeah,
Well,
almost
when you put it that way, crap.
how much trauma can I inflict on a teenager before I'm going to stretch credulity,
Mhm.
or just write a book that's literally just, maybe Jenna turning into some sort of terrible psychopath because she's seen such terrible things over and over and over again.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that ever on your mind as you were working through it?
No.
Okay, that's
Run.
fine.
Nope.
That's a valid answer. I mean, your books are like, they're. I don't know. Do you think of these books? These are YA books. I'm writing YA
Mhm.
books. Okay, and I
Yeah,
think they're
I mean,
it,
I would call them like upper YA.
right.
I do think if like a 12-year-old is a more voracious reader and reads up regularly, I think this would be fine for them. Like content-wise, I don't think there's a whole lot in here that you're not seeing in like the Stranger Things of the world. Like I think I'm torturing my characters probably equally, maybe a little more.
I don't know. This book pushed it a little further. I think there's a couple things in this when I went, ooh, okay, that's spicy. Now that I mean, I liked it, but it is. I know that it is. I don't. Maybe I overthink it because I think there is. I think leeway given to fictional characters, and
Mhm.
especially if you strike the right tone, you can dismiss what would probably make a normal pure person in the real world crack.
Right.
And so that weighs in my mind when I'm like, oh, I'm going to use some of the characters. I'm like, they saw the worst shit imaginable. They're not going to go have a more adventure. They're going to spend the rest of their life probably hugging their dog because they're so broken.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of army crawl my way there at the end of the series because it just gets to a point where it's like, enough. Holy crap. Because the series itself, all 4 books, take place over the course of less than a calendar year.
I was
So
going
it's
to
just
say,
one thing after another after another.
I mean, there's conversation in this one with Jackson's like, this all happened a month ago. and, and and he's like, yeah, yeah, I did. Yeah,
Here
all
we
that
are.
horrible. Yeah, here I am training to be a special monster agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I never thought of that because ultimately once I set aside the like, yeah, the series is going to be Fear Streams, it's going to go into infinity, I had that firm end, so I just needed content to satisfy the 5 books and now the 4 books. So yeah, there, I mean, Buffy went through it
I'm
like a
I
lot.
mean, you yes, yeah. I mean, it's the I think it is that matter of tone.
Yes.
The matter of obviously like we didn't very quippy, and like your books carry that DNA as well. They have that kind of that you explicitly reference Buffy, especially in this book, which I
Yeah.
do appreciate. Uh, but they're like they because it airs in we're joking through this, and most of the main characters don't face horrible like on-screen consequences until like very pivotal moments.
Hmm.
um you can kind of hand wave away, oh well, it's Scooby-Doo,
Yeah.
you're just waving away, there's yeah, there's trauma, yeah, there's hardship, but ultimately the characters are tough, and it's because of the tone, you don't have to think about it too much.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't write really, I don't consider myself, I don't write YA, even though I think some of my books probably could easily, I don't know, it's all
Hmm.
marketing it's all marketing to me. I
Yeah.
don't know, like
Yeah.
there's I don't know, I was reading horrible stuff when I was like 10, so
Right.
I don't know, like who read like readers typically are like, if you're a kid and you're a voracious reader, you are like going to be chasing. Oh, I worked through all of Goosebumps. What else is there? Well, I guess I'm going to. There's nothing else. I'm going to go to Christopher Pike.
Right.
I'm going to level up, and
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Stephen King because I'm leveling up. And you're like, oh well, when you're reading Stephen King when you're 12 years old.
Yeah, Frog and Toad is not going to hold you for very long if
No.
you're a really voracious reader. And yeah, you're just going to, like you said, skip through all of those steps really quick and end up with some very inappropriate books to be reading at very inappropriate
Oops.
ages.
Oh no.
How bad?
Oh no. This is this is a question I had. In Blood in the Boardwalk, there's a handful of chapters which are a different perspective.
Hmm.
We don't. I, it, I don't think it's a spoiler to say it's a vampire, because it's very evident right away that's who it is.
Yeah.
Um, but in this book, there are no changes in perspective.
Hmm.
It's a I guess more linear structure. Even though I really like those dream sequences
Hmm.
where Jenna travels to the tent revivals. It's so a somewhat different structure. Is per book, are you just looking at what that book needs, those perspectives that book needs? You're not trying to let each, I don't know, there was a point where I'm like, are these going to be similar structure? Because when I opened up book 2, I'm like, it's literally the same amount, exact same amount of chapters.
I
And I'm
know.
like, is this going to be like, I mean, that's not bad. I
Yeah.
don't really care about parallel structure in a
Yeah.
series. But was that a conscious decision, like, oh, I don't care, this book needs a vampire the antagonist perspective to work, and the next book doesn't, so who cares?
Yeah, I really just go based on what the book as its own needs.
Okay.
Um like the first book, I really wanted to drive home just how awful the vampire was. And I don't think I could have done it well enough strictly from Jenna's point of view. So that's why it's kind of interspersed with those. From here, I think because what's happening is what's happening, like I don't need that extra oomph for this. Like it's the on page stuff behind Jenna's eyes is plenty.
Okay. I mean, I again, it's my brighter brain immediately is
Mhm.
like, hmm, there's a vampire, like, I don't know, I would want, I think I always like matching. I'll be like,
Yeah.
oh well, I did it in this book, I have to do it in this book, and I'm like, well, it doesn't need it, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think because book 3 has a very similar structure to book 2. Book 4 is gonna, yeah, I think Blood on the Boardwalk is actually the outlier one.
Right.
And That really makes sense because even though, like, over the course of writing it, I don't think my writing style has changed very much. It changed enough, and I learned from each book how to better sew everything together. So I think that is playing into it a little bit as well.
I mean, I think I felt like this book, you're really sitting in those characters more.
Mhm.
Like, it feels like you know that. I mean, it feels like almost like a television show where you're like season 2, they've really have like gotten to those characters' voices and you're really like familiar with them and you know them. And I think it's also as a reader, you're more familiar with who they are.
Mhm.
Um, and I think I just like the fact that Georgie was on the team now.
Yeah.
That we're all working together. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess for a bit we're working together. I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but and like I think the growth of the cast. I
Mhm.
really like the idea of, oh, now we have all these teachers that are like almost become it the summer camp vibes of having all
Yeah.
these teachers around.
Yeah.
And I would also want to applaud you. You don't have any like openly villainous teachers. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I say. The villain is something that's not a teacher.
Yeah.
I don't know if people just read Harry Potter and were like, oh, we need to have a villainous teacher every camp book I read, every academia book. It feels like, oh, we have to have a villainous teacher. I'm like, can we just have normal teachers? Can we just have normal people trying to do their best? Like, yeah, they're not pushovers, but they're not like actively trying to murder students. Like, I don't.
Right.
So thank you. I really do appreciate it. I just want normal adults who are just trying to be they're doing
Yeah.
their job.
Yeah. I will say, Vanessa, the kinda like their
Oh yeah.
ranger.
I mean, she's
In
strict.
Yeah, in earlier iterations, she was much worse, but yeah, I had to learn some things about how, like, bureaucracy and government organizations actually work, and it's like, "No, that's not actually gonna happen." So I walked her back a little bit, and I think she's a bit more even as a character.
Yes.
Strict, yes, but not like, "I'm going to murder you and bury you in a ditch."
Yeah. I don't know. I don't care. Conflict is great.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's fine. But not have it like I don't need everyone to be Snape. I think that's like I don't need that. Like everyone's like, okay. People need to stop. This is not to you. This is to anyone out there. Hey, calm down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make the villain something else. Use your imagination.
Here we are.
Yeah. We're out of time for the first segment. It went quick.
Nice.
Yeah. People should go read Monsters in the Mountains. It's out. They can go get it. We're gonna move on to the next segment. It is time for the second act, which is broader, bookish, and writing questions.
Nice.
We're gonna start with a question from my last guest, who is Angela Sylvain.
Oh, I love her.
And yeah, Angela's the best. And she has a question for you.
Oh.
And I'm going to ask you for a question for our next guest at the end of this. Her question for you is, if you were trapped in a real life slasher, what character archetype would you be and why? So would you be the first to die? Would you be the final girl? Would you be the killer, etc.?
I would probably be the person who's like, no, we shouldn't go into that house. Like, let's not go into that house.
The voice of reason.
Yeah, but also may end up dying because my situational awareness isn't the greatest. So, like, turn around and like walk face first into a knife or something like that.
That's good. I think I'm probably in the same boat.
Yeah.
I would be well, we can't do that. Let's do the calm, safe thing. And then ultimately, oh, well, we got outthought by the killer and they're waiting for me.
Yeah.
Inside the car that we're going to escape in.
Right.
Yeah. They're crouched in the back seat.
Yeah.
I'll let you stew on your question.
Okay.
While I ask you other questions.
Okay.
This is a question I ask everybody. Who is a writer more people should be reading? And you
Oh,
can give me more than one if you'd like.
oh boy. Okay. Um, crap. I'm gonna have to go into like
That's fine.
Goodreads.
Yeah, that's okay. You can do that.
Asking me for like recs like that is a great way for my brain to go absolutely blank.
You're not the first person to say that.
Like, what's your favorite book? Like, I read.
You do. I assume you do. I assume that most writers do read. If you're out there and you're a writer and you're not reading, get to work.
That's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've read not all of Diana Rodriguez Wallach's books, but I've liked everything that I've read of hers so far. I've read The Hatchet Girls. I read Small Town Monsters. So if you like that um, kind of slasher horror vibe, I think you're missing out if you're not reading her.
Okay.
Let's see. Um, Gonna edit out all of this blank space, right? While I search through my reading list.
We'll see how it plays.
I really liked Sylvester Barzy. So he wrote Camp Lanier, which is about it's actually a real lake in Georgia. Are you familiar with Camp Lanier or Lake Lanier?
No. I mean, I think I've heard of it, but
it's there used to be a town basically populated by Black individuals that was flooded out in order to create a
okay.
reservoir.
I have heard of that. Now that you say that, yeah.
And he set his slasher camp there and basically made the camp haunted by the people who used to live in that town. I really like that book. So
that sounds like another book
yes.
That I'll put on my TBR and want to read for a long time, and then never get to it because I'm swamped.
TBR just keeps growing. Yeah.
I mean, I did, but we're recording this the week after AuthorCon, and I bought literally 50 books. So
you have homework.
I know. I perpetually.
Yeah.
Any other names? You don't have to. You can leave it at 2 if you'd like. It's up to you.
Oh, I love Anastasia Garcia's Frights to Tell at Night books. These are for not like really young kids. I would put them about middle grade.
Okay.
They're wonderful, wonderful stories. They're next generation scary stories by Alvin Schwartz. If you're
I grew up. I have it. I have the collection over there somewhere.
Yeah, same.
All those incredible illustrations.
And Anastasia's books, one, they're just beautiful to look at. The covers glow in the dark. I love them. But the stories are so diverse and so creepy. And I want to scream from the rooftops just how great these books are. Like they have these like nostalgic feels for me because I read these stories when I was more age appropriate to the books, and it just kind of makes me relive that like cozy blanket feeling that I got from horror. That probably says something about me as a child that I was getting that from horror, but that's beside the point. We're going to keep moving past that.
I'll ask a question about it later.
But they're also great gateway books for children too. Like if you're a parent and you kind of want to get your kid into horror, see if they're interested in it, and they have like scary ratings on each book. So
that's nice. That's
it's good. 3 triangles is super scary. 1 triangle is like it's kind of tame, so you can kind of ease them into it. I just think they're wonderful, wonderful books.
That's good. I'll have links to all those in the show notes for anyone who wants to go check them out. You already mentioned this, and this is the first. You're gonna be my guinea pig for this question.
Okay.
Because I haven't asked this question yet. How has your writing changed since when you first started writing and since when you first started publishing?
Oh, so I mean, first started writing. I mean, I know how to pace a book now, so that's definitely a plus. have that going for me. I think a big thing for me is because I try to write a variety of different things. Like I write novels, I also write novellas, I also write really short stories. I'm working on a small like chat book of microfiction. My writing has gotten tighter over the last decade or so. So I actually, where I used to, first drafts used to be like 120,000 words or something like that, and you have to cut it down. I see you feel that.
I was gonna say that's way too much.
Yeah.
I typically have the opposite problem. I'm a chronic underwriter. I have to constantly force myself to sit in scenes and to describe things more and to make
Mhm.
chapter. I just wrote my longest manuscript and it's only 90,000. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Now I'm more on that end now where I find myself having to add stuff in order to like flesh out a character or flesh out a scene or something like that, as opposed to having to cull, 40, 50,000 words from a manuscript like a dumping.
it's more that I feel like that's the more common thing.
Hmm.
People are just like word salad, just write so many words,
Yeah.
and then I don't know other people's books that I have not necessarily not officially edited, but definitely be like, hey, this is 30,000 words too long. You need to
Right.
cut
Trim some of this.
cut a lot of this there's a bunch of chapters here that you only need a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't need it all this, but I think
Hmm.
I feel like that is a common thing. It's very but like especially when you're starting out, you're like just right. Well, I mean, if you're finishing anything, that's good. Who
Yeah.
cares if it's too long?
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
not my
as a pantser, it's also part of
discovery, right?
the discovery of it because I
Yeah.
don't know, like, I can't outline a book because I don't know it. I discover it through writing. So
Yeah.
I will definitely get to scenes where I cannot get to the next point that I know I need to get to until I write through that scene. And I'm just writing it like this is all going to get cut. Like, because I just need to, that's just kind of my process. I just need to dump the words so I can get to that next point. But yeah, I would say those are the two big things. I can pace a book now, and my writing is much tighter than what it was a decade ago.
Yeah. My I don't know if this has been said on this podcast yet, but I do know that Jeff Vandermeer says that even his opinion is that, and I don't necessarily agree with it 100%, but he says that a pantser's first draft is basically their outline. That's how they find the pantser is writing their outline by writing the book, and then when they're cutting things, they're technically that's their the figuring out what the book actually is. And I'm like, that's interesting. I don't know if I agree with all of that, but it's interesting. I like to think about it. It's a cool
Yeah,
thing to think about.
I mean, it's not wrong. And I think maybe earlier in my writing career, that would be more accurate because I cut so much more out now. But because I don't want to say I've gotten it down to a science because that's definitely not it.
Well, I mean, you're
But
just more efficient. You recognize, I don't know, you're in the process. I find myself the same way where you're in the
mhm,
process, literally in your writing, and
yeah,
you're like, no, I don't need to do that.
yeah,
Cut it right now. You
yeah.
like, and but you're not stopping and thinking about it. You're just like, no, it's instinct. It's learned instinct of like,
Hmm.
I don't need three more sentences here.
Yeah,
I said what I need to say. Move on.
yeah. Yeah, and at this point, my first drafts, while they're still on the messier side, they're still really cohesive, and I find I don't have to do, like, major cuts or rearranging or anything like that. Because for the most part, like you said, it's instinct at this point. I know my own process. I know how to piece together a story, and it just kind of falls out. Not perfectly, obviously, because I still have to do editing at the end of it, but
I mean,
it's
that's writing.
not
Writing
like,
is revisions.
yeah, yeah, it's not like this huge mess that I then have to go back and like if I was still doing that at this point, I I would need to do something different because I could not keep doing that.
I mean, it's always everyone's also incredibly different. So
Yeah.
it's like you're discovering
Mhm.
you and how you could best get the thing you want.
Yeah.
And that can change even. It certainly changed. That part has changed for me where I'm like, I want to make a different thing. So it means my process has to change a little bit differently.
Mhm.
Um,
I can't really answer the since publishing because I just published Blood on the Boardwalk like 6 months ago, so
I mean,
hasn't changed
there's,
that much.
well, I mean, it's, I don't, I, there'll be other people who also answer this question who probably will have published even longer than I have. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's built around the general audience, but there's also like sometimes people write books that they wrote a book 5 years ago, and that's the
Oh,
book
yeah.
that's being published today. And they, there's, I, I think about this a lot where people are like, oh, what's my voice? Is my
Mhm.
writing style changing? And you're like, and all the people are being the thing a person reads that came out today. I wrote that 3 years ago, or I wrote it 2 years
Right.
ago. And
Mhm.
like the thing I'm working on right now is actually the most accurate reflection of the voice I have at this moment.
Yes.
But that might not be published for quite some time, depending on a million different factors. So it's
Right.
like you're
Yeah.
always trailing behind who you are as a writer. Your published works are in your wake. Like
Yeah.
I was at some book club and someone asked me why I did something that for a book I wrote 7 years ago or 6 years. I'm like,
I don't
I don't know. I can't tell you, man. I can tell you what I can like try and put myself in that headspace and be like, I probably for this reason.
Yeah.
But I that's not necessarily why I did it. There might not have had a reason. I might
Yeah.
have just been flying along and went, oh, this is fine. It just kept going. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And I have worried about that writing a series because so Blood on the Boardwalk was technically finished in 2021. So, and I'm working on book 4 now. It's like, "Oh crap, am I gonna have like, are the voices gonna match through all of them?
I mean, I
Oh
think
no."
I think people are relatively forgiving as long as they're similar. Like I don't think it has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Uh and I honestly, the real answer is I don't even think people notice.
Fair. Yeah.
I don't people readers are most readers are not reading that closely
Yeah.
to stuff. And not to say there aren't readers who are very close readers,
Mhm.
but my
Most of 'em.
experience, I bring up small minor details about my books to people, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't notice."
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought I labored that. I thought I belabored it and said it 5 times to make sure you understood. I just was talking to a beta reader last night, and he completely missed a va- a thing that I was like, "Oh no, did I not make this thing very obvious? I thought I did." And then I had to go, but I asked my other beta readers, and they're like, "No, I noticed that." I'm like, "Okay, thank God. I don't want to have to fix it." Um, what's the best piece of advice you followed?
Um, let's see. I don't edit as I go because I just want to get to the end of the draft and then I go back and edit it. But if I can quote Kesha, "Don't let the bastards get you down." Like so much of what I do is just fueled by spite. That like, oh, you think I can't do something? Bet, and I'm gonna do it.
This is the first time anyone's quoted Kesha on the podcast.
You're welcome.
I mean, no, perfectly fine. Nothing against Kesha.
But yeah, I think especially when you're just starting out, you're just so much more susceptible to other people's negativity. And some of the ways that people like to flex on other writers is to just be giant dicks about things. And you, you just have to let that go because the only thing you're really learning for them is how not to behave to other people. Like, some of the most rotten things that people have said to me within the context of like trying to make my writing better, it's like
Oh.
that says so much more about that other person than it does about your writing.
I mean, it's one, don't give people unsolicited advice.
Yeah.
That's
That
number one. Don't do that.
yeah.
Unless it's like, or you can ask for like, if it's something, I feel like if it's, I will sometimes ask people if they want non-writing advice
Mhm.
about stuff. Like I was at AuthorCon and I saw a friend. I was like, and I was looking at their table, and I've sold books in person for a long time now. And I'm like, hey, would you like some? Could I give you a little bit of advice about how to set up your table to help you sell books better?
Mhm.
And they're like, yes, please. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, oh, it's not that it's bad. It's just
Yeah.
you can maximize it a little bit.
Mhm.
But it's different when it's writing advice.
Mhm.
That is so personal. And unless you're that person's editor, don't give unsolicited writing advice to people.
Right.
It makes you sound one, it is rude, and it makes you sound like an asshole.
Mhm.
And I was gonna say, there's at StokerCon every year there is a panel. It's how to be a professional.
Mhm.
And the thing they start with every single, they say they do it every year, and every year there's people who attend because every year there's still demand for it. And I went. I'm like, and I'm glad I did. It's early in the morning too. So you're like, you have to wake up, force yourself into the panel. But the first thing they say is, don't be an asshole. If you don't want to be a professional, it's like that's the overarching principle. You want
Yeah.
to be a professional, don't be an asshole. It's very
Yeah.
simple.
I'm
We're good.
I'm a big fan of putting out into the world what you want to get back. So what you see with me is what you get. And I don't have time for backbiting. I don't have time for mean girl stuff. I don't have time for any of that. Like
No,
I don't care
no,
about it.
that is the correct, I don't have time for this is the people, anyone, you don't, this is free advice as well to anyone listening. You don't have to have opinions about everything that happens on the internet.
You don't.
There's going to be stuff happening where, as Alan Moore, I've quoted Alan Moore on this podcast a couple times. We live in a world of steam, and it's a culture of steam. Things are happening now with the internet and social media. Things happen so quickly, and
Yeah.
then they immediately vanish. And you don't need to have a reactionary opinion about everything that happens.
Mm.
So, and you don't have to say it. You just be quiet, write your books.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to develop the community, but
Well, it's if there's harm being created by something,
oh yeah.
you do something about it. You
Yeah.
step in
Yeah.
or something like that. But when it's just like, is this meaningful discourse today?
Right.
No,
No.
probably not.
Yeah.
I got a book to write, man. I don't got
Right.
time. I'm
Right.
busy. I am so busy. I don't
Mhm.
have time to
Yeah.
argue on the internet.
Yeah. And just it seems I think I can't remember the author who said it. It was a trad pub author, but you always know when it's something to the effect of you always know when another writer is reading your book because of the way that they review it. And I just I think that ultimately at that point I had already stopped reviewing other people's books, but that like I felt put on blast for that because I now see it in some of the reviews in my own books as well, like people leaving reviews on my books and just being like, you're trying to flex your muscles there. And I definitely did some of that years earlier and when I was reviewing books. And it's just like, okay, yeah, I see you. I see you. I know what you're doing. And you're doing it
I'm
with the best of intentions.
I
But
mean, they don't even. It's this. There's a reason I don't do star reviews of books. If I put a review out for a book, if I say I read a book, and obviously I'm reading the books for this podcast,
yeah.
and we're talking about it. But other books, I don't do star reviews. And I'm a thumbs up or a thumbs down type of person. I'm going to
Hmm.
tell you should read the book or you shouldn't read the book.
Yeah.
And I don't, the ones that I think you shouldn't read, I don't talk about.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not, and because as I've done this for much longer, I've whenever I see this on social media, I see very specific authors who are posting negative these are your peers. These are your colleagues. Mm-hmm. And you, as a writer, I almost put a see, you got me up on my soapbox. I do this periodically, but I almost put a social media. I almost put a video out talking about this at one point. But I'm like, no, calm down, Robbie. Don't listen to your own advice. Don't create discourse where you don't need to. But it is. Don't put out some smarmy DNF to book for another writer. You yourself know how particular and vibey and like chemistry based, if you like another book or not, is entirely based on, do you mesh well with their voice?
Right.
And what you like is not going to be what someone else likes. It's so subjective. Stephen King famously, it's like, time travel and ESP at the same time. You're reading someone else's mind through time and space.
Yeah.
And it's quite easy to be like, I'm in a bad mood today, or I don't vibe with this book, so I'm going to quit it. And then I'm going to put it on blast on social media for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And even if you think a book is written poorly, you don't have to say that out loud.
Right. Right. That's where that little community comes in.
I know it's like it's very like there's a reason that I don't know. All the authors that I love and I'm friends with are all extraordinarily positive, mm-hmm. and we elevate books and other authors who we like, mm-hmm. and writing we like, and the ones we don't like, we just don't talk about. You just
don't give it oxygen.
You just keep your mouth shut. It's fine. Yeah. I was not expecting this question to elicit me getting on my soapbox. I want to get one more question out of you.
Okay.
Before we move on to the final segment. We'll do that one because you mentioned it earlier. What was your gateway horror media?
Oh dear. I mean, the story as my parents tell it is that my dad used to have me watch horror movies with him. And I don't remember a lot of this because I was like 4 years old when I saw The Exorcist.
Oh my God.
And when I was like 5, my mom said that she found me in my closet crying, saying that the skeletons were going to get me. And we had just watched Poltergeist.
Oh my God.
I don't have any memory of that. But apparently
the skeletons are going to come and get me. Oh my God.
But apparently that like irrevocably changed my DNA, as by the time I was in like 5th grade, I was just really drawn to darker horror like stuff. And my friends and I, we would go to the bookstore and we would buy these like little kids anthologies of ghost stories and stuff. And we would read it to each other at recess. And I always really liked the scary stories, and those Stephen Gammell's artwork has lived rent-free in my head ever since I've seen it in full, vivid detail. And just from there, it was, the standard 90s kid gateway stuff, the Goosebumps, the Fear Street, the Point Horror, Christopher Pike, all of those are part of me.
This feels like a lot of people. I'm similar. Mm-hmm. I've already called it Christopher Pike and Goosebumps and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark and Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yes.
And then you graduate up to, when your parents aren't paying attention, you watch Tales from the Crypt. Mm-hmm. And then you get basically traumatized by some horrible thing that's happened on Tales of the Crypt when you were 7 years old and you shouldn't be watching something like that.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'm great.
We're good.
I'm great. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was 5 watching Poltergeist though. I was probably 10 watching Poltergeist, and it really did mess me up then. Poltergeist is probably the number one. Like that's the number. No, Arachnophobia was number 1.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And then I lived in the woods with a bunch of spiders, so having a movie that is all about how a bunch of spiders are going to kill you is not necessarily. None of the comedy came through when I was 8 years old or whatever.
Well, that's Killer Clowns for me. I saw Killer Clowns must have just been a moment in my life and terrified me. Absolutely terrified me. And it was only maybe a year ago when my husband was like, you really need to watch this movie because you are going to laugh your face off. And sure enough, like, it's Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, it's very funny.
So silly, which is also almost a shot by shot remake of 1958's or 1954's The Blob.
Yeah.
Didn't learn that until we actually went to watch The Blob, and we're like, wait a minute, this is very familiar. And then, yeah, Killer Clowns. But yeah, I remember, I think I was like 9 or 10 watching Fire in the Sky. And I
Oh,
hid
yes.
behind the couch during the needle in the eyeball.
Yeah, I've called out Fire in the Sky on this podcast before because there's those. It's not a good movie. Like a lot of it, just like a lot of things, just kind of happen in that movie and they don't explain it,
Yeah.
and the story doesn't quite line up. But there's specific scenes, especially when you're a kid and you don't have any context. You're just like, this is the most upsetting thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yes.
Him hiding under the cable table in their kitchen, like as an adult, you're like, what? Why is he? And you're like, oh no, this is terror that I cannot comprehend.
Yes.
But it's very good. I still like Fire in the Sky quite a bit.
I haven't seen it in forever at this point.
It's those scenes are still great.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's the imagery of those specific things, but when you watch the movie, it kind of doesn't hold up as a narrative, which
that was also me getting past Aliens, because I refused up until like probably 6 months ago to even watch Aliens. I don't like space horror.
I love Aliens.
And then
I love Aliens.
Oh, this is a movie on the horrors of not listening to the woman. Got it. Because
that's the Alien franchise. It's just Ripley's right.
Why are you touching it? Why are you touching the egg thing? Why it cracked open? Okay, why are you putting your face over it? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing any of the? Okay, yeah, you're too stupid to live. Got it. And then that was the second movie. I haven't gotten past the second movie, but it's like, okay, yes, I had nothing to fear from these movies. Got
it. Evils of Capitalism.
Yeah.
That's also Alien. Aliens, it's twin themes. Listen to Ripley. Ripley's right, and capitalism is bad.
Yes. Save the cat.
You can skip 3. It's one is obviously great, 2 great, 4 is good and weird. Not the best movie, but really neat looking. It has Ron Perlman in it. How can you be too upset? And then obviously there's all the newer ones, which are like Prometheus. I'm a strictly anti-Prometheus person, but I know there's some weirdos out there who love Prometheus. They're psychopaths. What's your question for our next guest?
Okay, let's see. If you could craft your perfect vampire, what vampire traits would you give them?
Okay, that's good. I like that a lot. I wrote my vampire book, and I think it got all the vampire out of me.
Oh, yeah.
It was just the right. Again, you have your own, like, there's all those, and you touch on them, especially in Blood on the Boardwalk, where it's like, what are the things that, what is real, what's not? Do you need to invite them in? All those different tropes. That's a good question. I like that. Even though I really, your next guest is Tamika Thompson.
Oh, nice.
So I'm very curious what she's going to say about if she has vampire opinions. We'll find out. It's time for our final segment.
Hooray!
Yeah, it's time for blood.
It's time for blood.
Yeah,
little more blood.
Time for blood. It's time for struggle. It's time for hardship. Be it nuts and bolts, mechanical issues with a story, be it ethos or philosophy, be it business problems, or be it I hate posting on social media, which is also, someone has used that multiple people. We've gotten that multiple times too. So what's on top of mind? What do you have? What's the hardship of the day?
The hardship of the day is keeping everything straight. When I set out to publish Blood on the Boardwalk, I also am publishing stuff under an adult pen name as
Right.
well. And I, in hindsight, made the grievous error of deciding to publish 2 series simultaneously. I hate myself.
It's a lot.
I will never do that again. Luckily, the adult side series is only a duology, and that second book is almost done. So that's almost out of my hair. But just keeping everything straight and giving everything the attention that it needs and deserves in order to do well. And yes, it does a lot of it come back to social media and keeping up with that and doing everything that you need to do, and not like, I'm really trying to not be just constantly online, but it's hard because you can't just post and go, because the algorithm basically demands that you also interact and you also spend time on it, and that's how it rewards you. And I really hate algorithms and how they're doing that.
Yeah.
So it's learning to balance all of that and not completely lose
Is
my
are
mind.
so Monsters in the Mountains is coming out. It's out by the time
Yeah.
this drops, but it'll be out in like a week or so
Mhm.
as we're recording this. Um, when's the what's been the release schedule for back and forth on the different versus the pen name versus this series?
So they're 2 months out. So I
Okay.
published Blood on the Boardwalk, and then 2 months later, I publish the first book in the adult series. So now Monsters in the Mountains comes out this month. The second book in the duology on the adult side will come out in May.
Okay.
So, like, I spread it out,
That's
but
still very fast. That's a lot.
yeah, it's I grossly underestimated what it would take for me to appropriately dedicate the time to each of them. And lesson learned, I will never be doing that again.
I mean, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
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 I was releasing 3 books a year for years.
Oof. Ouch.
Uh,
Oh.
for 4 years, I released 3 books a year, and I
Oh.
was writing roughly 5 manuscripts a year
Oh,
and
wow.
releasing 3 books a year. Roughly, was bad.
Y-
I shouldn't have done that, and I wouldn't do that now. Like if I was starting and knowing what I know now, like I would go 2 books a year is good. 6
Mhm.
months apart gives you plenty of time to breathe and to be very intentional, which is I think a thing I wasn't necessarily doing, was be very intentional
Mhm.
about what I'm writing, what I'm releasing, and how I am spending my time on social media, networking with other authors, with other readers, things
Mhm.
like that, and doing in real life things. This
Yeah.
also was, I guess, a lot of it was during the pandemic, so
Fair.
I was
Okay. Yeah.
home. I was not out and about very much, but it still was that like I didn't know that. I didn't know what was right. I had no idea. I don't
Right.
know anything. I barely know something now, and I've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
And so it's like you don't really understand it. And also, like, there is obviously, I think other people have talked about it, but it's like that. How much do I how much energy do I put towards social media? How many sales will it actually convert to?
Right.
Things like that. And how important is that?
Mhm.
How meaningful is that to me?
Yeah.
If I spend an extra hour on social media today and get one extra sale, is that worth it?
Yeah. I mean, I think
Anyone not watching on the video, anyone's listening audio, I'm shrugging like
just
crazy.
shrugs. Yeah.
I'm doing a big shrug.
Shrugs. Like,
Let everyone know.
I mean, I think as writers, what we need to understand and really just like repeat to ourselves as a mantra is that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And the more you write, the more people will discover you. Like that's one of the big things that I've learned is like I'm watching my peers, like good things happen for my peers, and I want those things for myself as well. And I just have to remind myself, like, oh, you have one book out, like, give it time. And between Blood on the Boardwalk and Monsters in the Mountains, I had a really good on ramp for Blood on the Boardwalk. I was able to put all of my focus into that, and it paid out in the end. Like, that was a really, really good launch, and I have not been able to do that for Monsters in the Mountains in the same way. And it shows. So it's, yeah, intentionality, I think, is key. And like you said, you don't know what you don't know, and
No,
once you know,
you
you
also
just,
have to forgive yourself
yeah,
for
yeah.
make quote unquote mistakes, but
Hmm.
ultimately they don't really matter.
Yeah.
You're not this it in 5 years from now. I'm gonna my career is gonna be a very different place,
Yeah.
and so is yours, and anyone probably listening who's a writer. Like, your career is gonna, if you have, as long as you continue to write, continue to publish in some way, shape, or form,
Yeah.
whatever path you want to try and go down,
Hmm.
your career is gonna be a very different place, and a mistake you made today probably isn't gonna mean that much. The only real mistake you can make is stopping.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Like,
Right.
that's the only thing where I say that's the true mistake, is like, oh, giving up, or like
Hmm.
oh, I'm gonna getting frustrated and quitting for a long time and then coming back or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
just don't do that. But other
Hmm.
than that, forgive yourself. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're gonna, like, you're gonna have a 4-book series at the end of this. You're gonna have
Hmm.
another series or duology with
Yeah.
your other pen name.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I thought when I started, I'm like, I know it's a marathon. I know I need to build up a catalog. I know I need to build up a fan base. No one's
Hmm.
going to know who I am. And this goes for any kind of, no matter what kind of publishing you're doing,
Yeah.
you have to do this.
Hmm.
And it takes a long time. Like, there's people who discover authors I think are like the most famous authors alive.
Hmm.
And I mentioned to them other readers, and they're like, who's that?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Are you serious?
really? It changed my life. Uh, so it doesn't really matter if you're self-pub, indie, trad, whatever you're doing, or hybrid of any kind.
Hmm.
I thought, oh, I no, I'm like, today I'm actually understanding how much of a marathon this is. It's
Yeah.
a marathon, meaning like it's a 10-year marathon.
Hmm.
It's a 15-year marathon. Like, you have, and it's a part coming back to, like, you have to love this.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
You can't, because you won't. Nothing else will carry you through all of it.
Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah, we're not doing this for money. And it always makes me laugh every time I see, the scam of the moment coming in, and use AI to write a billion books, and
Trash. Write a bunch of trash is what you're gonna
right,
get.
right, write a bunch of slop. And it's like, you are in the raw, you tell me you know nothing about publishing without telling me you know
Yeah,
nothing about publishing, thinking you're gonna come in here and just make $1 billion selling books. Ha ha ha.
yeah. It's
Wow.
to make money, like to make a profit. It requires a lot of stuff, and in a time and luck are two big parts of that. Which
Mhm.
time you can only wait, and
Yep.
luck you have. All you can do is put yourself in good position and try your best and
Yeah.
hope, but you can't control it.
Right.
It's like chaos, and
Yeah.
I think that is the keep writing,
Keep writing
keep
and don't
writing.
be a dick.
Yeah, I mean those are honestly, if those two lessons are the things that work through all the episodes of this podcast, I think that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put it on
don't be
a
an asshole. Keep writing.
t-shirt.
I'm gonna sell that shirt in my. I know I don't want to sell t-shirts.
Do it.
People go, oh, why don't you have t-shirts? I'm like, I don't want to sell t-shirts, man.
Yeah.
I got a closet full of books. I don't want to have a
Right.
closet full
I
of
don't want
t-shirts
stock.
too. I
No.
don't want to have to stock t-shirts. We're out of time.
Oh, boo. This
But
is fun.
wait, we're not done.
Okay.
I've been doing a thing. I've just started last episode with Angela, and I'm gonna continue this. I really like it because I saw another podcast do it. We're gonna end before we do plugs. I want you to manifest something for your career. I want you to speak out loud a big thing you'd like to achieve in, the not tomorrow, but the intermediate future.
Hmm. Oh. Oh, you're making me dig deep on this one. Hmm.
Sorry.
um I mean, quite honestly, I hope I get to keep entertaining people with the weird shit in my head for a long time to come.
Okay. Okay. That's fair enough.
And I hope people will continue to seek out the weird shit in my head and want to read it.
Okay. So Donna Taylor, name brand. Donna superstar author. Donna Taylor.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind being the next R.L. Stein.
See, there you go.
It's
That's what I like. I want completely delusional. That's what we're going for.
Yeah, just how big can I dream? I can dream pretty big.
I mean, it's good to have those things in mind.
Sure.
And to want them.
It's a stretch goal.
You're allowed to want to be R.L. Stein. I would love to be. Yeah, I would also love to. I mean, R.L. Stein is 40 years older than me, so I would like. Yes. I don't want to be R.L. Stein. I'm quite happy being me at my current age, but having that career of being the. Yes, I mean that's. I don't know. You're there. You're on the path.
I hope so. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. Donna, where can they find your books? Where can they find you online? Where should they go?
So my website is authordonnataylor.com. It's probably the best, landing page for everything else. My books, I am going to send you to the Crafty Bookstore if you want like signed copies of my paperbacks. Otherwise, I'm wide, so wherever you buy books, you should be able to find my books. And I'm on Threads, Instagram, and Pinterest at author Donna Taylor.
There you go. All the links will be in the show notes as well. Donna, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Robbie. This was fun.